Hi, my name is Tiffany Childers, and I'm here with the nonprofit organization One Chair at a Time. And we are continuing our weekly series called Our Story, where we highlight and honor the real lives and real journeys of individuals in our community. Each week, we sit down with someone who is a part of the nonprofit One Chair at a Time and give them space to share their story.
Sim.
Today, I'm grateful to be joined by Matt. So, thank you for being here with me. So, can you just we're going to start at the beginning of your journey, actually before your journey. And can you tell me what life looked like before your accident?
Uh, so I was a welder. Um, I did. I worked for a fence company here in town building custom gates, and then I also worked for myself doing all kinds of different stuff. It was like a 24-hour on-call business.
Wow.
And I was engaged. I lived at home still, and that pretty much, yeah, that's basically my life. I didn't do a whole lot. I mean, I got crazy and stuff, and
So, how old were you when your accident happened?
22,
And how
I
old
think.
are you now?
20, 30. I'm 30 now.
So, it's been about
Is it
eight.
bad that I don't remember how old
No, it's okay because I don't either. It's been about 8 years.
I am? Yeah, I think this coming May will be 8 years.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, thriving, working, all of that stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and this just can go as far as you want it to go, but can you tell me a little bit about the day of your accident, what all you remember, and what happened?
It's pretty splotchy. I mean, I remember most of that morning getting up, going to work, um, and working, and then I don't remember much of the afternoon, and I remember basically getting off work, getting on my motorcycle, and leaving. And I remember that I was like, it had been a rough day, and so I was, anytime that I was like in a bad mood and I was riding the bike, I made sure that I was doing like under the speed limit and stuff because I knew I wasn't going to be as focused because honestly, most of the time I was speeding on the bike. So, um, it's a motorcycle. Um,
Exactly, and it's fun.
yeah. Um, and so I got off, got on the bike, and went home, and I was heading down 34th, and there was construction at Washington and 34th, and it went down to one lane. And the next intersection after Washington, the residential street right there, the truck turned in front of me, and I was, I think I was doing like 25. The cops said that from my skid mark that I was doing under 20 when I actually hit the car.
Wow.
And I remember I squeezed the brake, and I squeezed it so hard that I remember feeling the master cylinder on the brake kind of give out. And the pictures of the bike afterwards, it blew the glass out of the front of the cylinder that holds the brake fluid on it. I guess
Oh,
I had
wow.
squeezed so hard. And I smashed on the back brake, which made the bike slide. And I was trying to lay it down, but I didn't have time because it happened too fast. And so I tried to bail off, and when I bailed, I twisted, and I hit basically my spine right on the front corner of his truck, and flew over the hood.
Wow.
And that is mostly all that I really remember. Um, Anything else is stuff that other people had told, like witnesses from it had told me they saw after it.
Did a lot of people stop?
Yeah, I think there was 3 or 4 people aside from the dude that turned in front of me.
So he actually stopped as well?
Yeah, right then. And then I guess the cops showed up. I guess what I was told was that he was like shaking me, trying to get me to get up, saying like you got to get up before the cops get here and stuff, because he didn't have a driver's license or insurance or tags or anything on the truck. And yeah, and then I guess the cops showed up and took his statement, but from what I understand is they didn't get all of his information from him, and I guess he left, Don't know if it was on purpose or not, or they told him to leave, or
Mm-hmm.
what. And then they had a hard time kind of tracking him down after that.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did, later on, not much happened to him for that. So,
No accountability. He didn't
Not
ever
really,
take
no.
responsibility.
no.
No.
No, when we were in court after the state took him, he said that I was speeding, and I wasn't. And he said that he was turning into the sun and couldn't see me, but he looked up, and there was no cars coming, which was not true. There was like 12 cars behind me. I remember that. I remember traffic was heavy. It was 5 o'clock traffic at 34th and Western. There's never no traffic there.
Right.
And he looked up. He didn't see me. He turned, and then as he was turning, he saw me, and I was already hitting him.
It's already too late.
Yeah, that was what he said, but he
So
completely just blamed me for the whole thing.
So when did you realize your situation was pretty bad? Immediately?
Pretty much the second I woke up in the hospital.
So you don't remember being transferred to the hospital
no.
or anything, and you woke up in the hospital?
Yeah, I was, there's a blank zone from me bailing off of the bike until I woke up in the hospital. It's black. I don't remember anything.
But I think that's probably a good thing sometimes.
Probably.
I think it saves us from a lot of remembering a lot of traumatic details and pain.
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing I remember is I woke up because they obviously had me pretty heavily medicated, and they were rolling me over to get me on a board or something to get me in, I think, a CT or an MRI or something. And I was trying to scream, and I couldn't because I had a tube down my throat.
So they had intubated.
Yeah, I had a punctured lung, and I broke all my ribs on this side.
Wow.
My spine, I punctured my spleen, broke my shoulder, and
You had to have been
had a
in an
concussion.
incredible amount of pain.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wow. So how did your mom get notified?
That's a whole story in and of itself. The paramedics had my phone. They called her, and she drove a big Dodge 3500, and she hopped in the truck and was hauling butt to the hospital and got in a wreck at the intersection of our street because she was...
you're in a panic.
She got T-boned by a Jeep doing 55.
Matt?
And
oh my goodness.
then she called my dad freaking out because... and she had just gotten in the wreck, and my dad had to come pick her up, and all he had at that time was his motorcycle, so he's coming home, and my neighbor went and met my mom at where her accident was at the end of the street, and stayed with my mom until my dad got there, and then gave my dad the keys to his truck, and him and my mom took my neighbor's truck to the hospital, and my neighbor took his motorcycle home.
Wow. Thank goodness for your neighbor. Wow. So I bet they were terrified by the time they got to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom, she's a spitfire on a good day, and the nurses wouldn't let her come see me, and she all but threw hands with a nurse.
She was going to get to see her baby boy.
Well, they wheeled me by the room that they were in, but they wouldn't let her out to come see me, and she was like, "No, I'm going. He's right there. I'm going."
Yeah. So mamas will do anything to see their baby boys. So what's your specific injury as far as spinal cord?
T3 is where my spine was broken. But about a year after my accident, my spinal cord tethered. It's where it scars to the dura inside your spine, and it kind of cuts off circulation to the nerves, and it did that all the way up to C1, which is why I don't have feeling in this arm, and this hand doesn't work real great anymore.
Wow.
So,
So just the right one.
yeah.
Nothing affected the left.
No, kind
Wow.
of. My sensation's a little less in this hand than normal, but it barely did anything to this hand, thankfully.
Wow. I didn't know that could do that.
Yeah.
So tell us about your rehab, like what all you had to go through to rehab and get to where you are today.
So I went to the Craig in Denver,
Okay.
and when I had gotten there, they almost immediately rushed me into surgery because the doctors here pretty much said that I was good to go, and I wasn't. I was leaking spinal fluid into my back, and it looked like I got pictures of it, but it looked like I had a liter bottle of Coke under my skin in my back.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I couldn't move my shoulders or anything. It just hurt too much, and I couldn't lay on my back at all.
So did you go immediately from Northwest to Denver?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no.
Or did you go home and
I
sometime in
stayed
between?
here. I stayed at Northwest for, I think, 2 weeks, maybe 3.
Okay.
And then they shipped me off to rehab
Okay.
in Denver. And then when I got to that rehab, they were like, "No, you need to
Another
go to the
surgery.
hospital."
So did they did surgery in Denver?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, they did. They did another surgery. They did several, actually. I think like 4 more surgeries.
Wow.
To finally get the leak stopped. And then I had to lay flat on my back without really moving for 3 months
Oh,
after
wow.
that.
So tell me about that. Tell me, like, what were you thinking? What was your mental health like? Because, I mean, I can only imagine if I had to do that.
Yeah, it wasn't good. If somebody would have handed me a gun, I would have probably utilized it.
Wow.
It was rough. It was miserable.
And, I mean, I'm glad you're talking about it and getting down to the real nitty-gritty and the raw, feelings that you had. Because those are very real. And I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, no, it wasn't fun. I mean, I couldn't even like roll over on my side for very long before I had to lay back flat on my back. And so, I got to stare at a ceiling for 3 months. And
So what did you do to help get yourself out of that space?
I really didn't. I kind of just
Kind
lived in
of
it.
stuck there for a little while.
Yeah, there wasn't much I could do. I've never really been big on watching TV, and I didn't have the desire to read or anything. And I mean, I played on my phone, but mostly I slept.
Yeah.
I had them pull the blinds and just tried to sleep through it.
Healing
Yeah.
as well, and so rest and heal and
Me and my family
So
actually
good.
got into fights over the blinds because they were like, "You need sunshine," and I'm like, I don't care.
want
I don't
sunshine
want
right
it.
now,
I wanna sleep through this until they tell me that I can get up.
Yeah.
Because
And I'm glad you're showing the darkness of it because it's real. It's real.
one of the suckiest times in my life.
So,
But I met somebody who is really, really close to me through this. He was an Uber driver. He took my mom to the airport and asked, she was crying. She went up there with me initially, and then she was there like a week and then had to come home. And he took her to the airport and asked what was wrong. She told him what happened. And he said, well, if he needs anything, let me know. Like, even if you just want me to go check on him. And
so you were still in Denver, and
Yeah,
she had to
she
come
had to
back
come
to
back
Amarillo.
here.
Okay, wow.
And his name's Joe Crawford. And I think the entire 7 months that I was up there, he only didn't come 2 days.
Wow.
He came to visit me every single day.
No, that's cool.
And we're still friends. He was actually just here last
That
week visiting.
is cool.
So he helped a lot through that.
And just to get you through
Yeah.
things and to talk to somebody that's not family.
Yeah. Well, and
That
I wouldn't eat, right? I was so depressed. Like I I might have like a bite of a hamburger every day. I'm a big dude, and I
Did you
whittled
lose a
down
lot of weight?
to nothing.
Really?
Like I was skin and bones.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
him and his preacher are the ones that actually got me to start eating again.
Wow.
Because I couldn't resist a freshly cooked T-bone.
I can't either.
Yeah, and so him and his whole family and community up there really helped support me because I was alone. You know, my parents tried to come up every weekend, but the reality of having to drive to Denver every weekend it costs a lot of money, plus all the bills they were having to pay.
Come back and work.
Yeah, and you know, they get 2 days, and my dad, he worked Monday through Saturday every day, and so he would only come up every few weeks. My brother would try to come up every weekend. My mom would try to come up, or no, my brother and my mom alternated.
Is your brother older or younger?
Yeah, he's 8 years older than
Older.
me.
Okay. Yeah, and that just shows the struggle of it. So did you have insurance? I think that's another
I did thankfully have
thing
insurance.
that we need to ask too, because some don't.
Yeah.
So you did.
Yeah, I was
But
lucky
boy,
enough
it's
to
still, I mean, just the leftover from what insurance doesn't pay, it'll eat your lunch.
have it. Oh yeah, I mean,
It'll eat your lunch.
I think total, including what insurance paid for my whole stay, all of my chairs, everything that I got sent home with, catheters and medical supplies and everything, I think it was like over $4 million or something for all the surgeries, and 'cause I think total I had like 10 to 12 surgeries.
So you were in Denver 7 months.
7 or 8 months, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And shout out to Joe.
Yeah.
What a cool dude. That's a really good story.
Yeah, he's pretty special to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see why. How cool. Okay, so then you come back to Amarillo.
Yeah, I come back to Amarillo, and
Are you still doing rehab, or are you
No.
are you getting back into life?
I'm trying to figure out
I'm trying to
how I'm
navigate
living, and
life as you know it now.
yeah, and my family, while I was there, they were also remodeling part of the house because it wasn't accessible
And
at all.
accessible, yeah.
And I came home and they had got a ramp built, or no, they had got a elevator thing built inside because my house is bi-level,
Okay.
and remodeled my bedroom so I could have a shower and a toilet and sink and a bed and everything to use. And it was the first year, honestly, was not bad at all. Like it was cool. I wasn't having to work. I was drawing disability. I was going to the gym every day. I was doing all the things. I mean, yeah, I still had some depression and stuff from being in a chair, but all in all, it wasn't very bad. And you know, hung out with Joe Chris some that first year, not a lot. And you get to about the year mark, and I started having really bad pain across my ribs, like shooting electrical pain. And within like 3 weeks, I had almost completely lost use of this hand and no feeling. And so back to Denver.
Wow.
I went to the hospital here because we were like, we don't know what's going on, what's happening.
Yeah.
And they did MRIs and stuff, and the surgeon came in and he goes, well, I can't help you. And I was like, what do you mean you can't help me? What's happening? And he goes, you have what's called tethering of the spinal cord, and there's nothing they can do about it. And I was like, I don't believe you. And so I called the Craig in Denver and was like, hey, this is what's going on. Is there anything that can be done for this? And they were like, oh yeah, you need to see Dr. Fauci.
Come see us, yeah.
He does 12 of these surgeries a week, you know.
And I think that's so important to talk about too, is you have to be your own advocate. Yeah. And if you feel like something's not being done, you've got to go and find somebody that will do it. That like you said, he does 10 or 12 a day. You know, not somebody that does
week,
one or a week, that does one every 3 years.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
it's
and you
all he
really have to
does.
kind of do your research, and you have to go with your gut and advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of times that we have blind trust in the doctors and the surgeons, and
Not
we
anymore.
you know, and I'm glad we're talking about it because we do. And so if you have a gut feeling like, no, something's not right, uh, I'm glad you talk about that.
Yeah.
So
Well, and he
back to
was-
Denver and more surgeries?
Mhm.
Wow.
Like I said,
Okay.
in total, so the first go around when I first went to Denver, I think it was like 5 surgeries uh, to the point that I came home. And then when I came home and then had to go back to Denver, I ended up having, I think, another 6 surgeries
Wow.
in total over the course of the next
And
3
so did you
years.
have to rehab after?
No, I really couldn't. I mean, so after you have the detethering surgery, you have to stay relatively flat. You're not like on bed rest, but you know, they don't want you straining yourself at all for like 6 months after the surgery. Like they tell you don't even like try to wash the dishes. They recommend you get a power chair and stuff so you're not having to push and
Yeah.
whatever. And because I had so many, I essentially spent the next 3 years in and out of surgery and bed rest
Wow.
after that.
Wow.
So,
So how did you come in contact with One Chair at a Time?
Joe Chris met me right after I got hurt. He came up to the
To the
hospital,
hospital, okay.
and I got in their crappy hospital chairs and went outside, and he showed me his hand controls and stuff because I was like, I need to know if I can drive. Like, me driving has always been a big thing. I've started, I don't know, when I was like 12, I built a lawnmower that I could drive. So it's things with motors have always been my thing.
That's been your fascination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he took me outside and we looked at his hand controls and he showed me how they worked and all of that. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
I can still drive.
I'm A-okay now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and thank goodness that, you know, somebody is around to show you so you're not so terrified.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you
So,
know,
did
even
you start getting involved with One Chair at a Time after that, or after, you know, all your surgeries and stuff,
yeah.
and you kind of got settled down
Yeah, after about
in life?
3 years, I started, you know, Joe Chris, he's super annoying. He will pester you until you cave, which is good.
It is a good thing.
Because,
That is
you
a
know,
great quality.
If not,
Yeah,
you
until
know,
you
I'd
give in.
hole up and
Hence the reason we're doing this interview.
yeah. Because if just you had asked me, I'd have probably said no.
Yeah, like, nope.
But yeah, so after 3 years, I got a little bit more involved. I started coming to the the shoot that they do every year, and would occasionally go to dinner when they meet up and stuff like that. But not super involved until the last probably 2 years, maybe 3. So 2 years, yeah, that adds up.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of like you lose track of time. So I just can only imagine like the emotions that have been tied with all of this, and kind of going back to the accident. I know that when there's no justice for someone and to take responsibility for the accident, you know, how do you get through that? Did you have anger?
Anger
Did you?
is all I had for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah. That's
Like,
kind of what I want to bring
I
up
either
too, because I
felt-
can't imagine that you wouldn't, because that's a very difficult thing
Yeah.
when there's no justice and nobody takes responsibility.
Yeah. I either felt anger, like a deep, I mean anything. Like I'd drop my phone and just go into a rage. It was either that or nothing. Like I would laugh, but it was fake. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't.
It's kind of like you don't feel joy
At all.
either. You don't. You feel numb and you don't feel joy.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do to get that back, that joy back in your life? Are you still working on getting that back in your life?
Yeah, yeah, it's not nearly
know-
as bad as it used to be. I've got
Yeah.
a pretty good handle on things now.
And you're not so stuck in.
Well, I suppressed.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Yeah, I suppressed everything, right? The sadness, the depression, the suicidal thoughts, like all of it. I buried it deep down because I felt like I had to put on a face for even my family. You know, the only time that I ever
Buried it.
was real was when I was alone,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to be alone because that was just misery.
Yeah.
So
And I can kind of relate to that. I buried my stuff down so deep that I made everybody think I was fine.
right, and that was the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like
So nobody questioned anything.
yeah, because you don't want to answer
And,
those questions.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, how are you? I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah.
When really, you know, you just want to scream and bury your face in a pillow or something, you know.
So it's getting better
Yeah.
for you. I
and
hope.
you know,
Did you ever see a therapist or think about therapy or anything?
I tried therapy a few
Yeah.
times, and I tried, you know, depression meds and stuff. But I'm always have been a do-it-myself person, and so I couldn't make myself open up in therapy and talk about the things that I would have needed to, and so eventually I just said, you know, you need to knuckle up and
You gotta
suck
dig
it up.
down.
And,
You got to dig down deep, though.
yeah.
You got to dig down deep in the depths and start doing little steps.
Well, and getting out and about and doing things with people.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, I've never, like, I can't think of what I'm trying to say. I've never dealt with anything. I just buried it and I say, like, move past it or whatever, but it's still down in there. I just don't really acknowledge it anymore. And getting out and doing things and, you know, experiencing life again instead of just being in a bed watching TV or whatever all day.
Right. And being in community with people, I think, is really important.
Having somebody that you can call and go, I was at the gym and I peed my pants in front of everybody, or I flipped over backwards and my pants fell off. All things that have happened.
Yeah.
And all things that
Those are
people in
real.
chairs deal with.
Yeah,
you know,
and they get it.
You
They
can
get it.
call Joe Chris, or I can call Dee and just bitch.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep. I
And-
love it. I
and
love it.
they know exactly how it feels.
Yep. Yep. I love it. I think community is so important. I know whenever I found the community of suicide loss survivors, I was like, oh my gosh, somebody like me. I don't feel so broken now, you know? So I get it. I think that's amazing. So did Joe Chris help get you chairs or anything like that? Or did,
No,
you know,
I've been lucky to always have
yeah.
some form of insurance.
I know, and that's a
There's
blessing.
a lot of people that don't, and
I
they
know.
just get sent home with a hospital chair, and I'm like,
Or like
you
the
got
Walgreens.
You got a hard road.
The Walgreens wheelchair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask you something funny. If you can describe Joe Chris in one word, what would it be?
Annoying.
I know.
Absolutely annoying.
I know, but in a good way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, most of the time. He's very, like I say, very persistent. But if it wasn't for him pushing me to do the things, and then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't go to the shoots because I'm not a social, really a social person. I don't like being in large groups of people. Like 2 or 3 people, that's my safe zone. But being around 10, 15, 100 people, no, I'm going to hang out by the one person that I know and be quiet.
Yeah. Yep.
So him pushing me to come and do those things, even though it is annoying.
Yeah. So what do you
It's a
do
good
today?
thing.
You work?
Do what I'm sorry?
What do you do today? You work, right?
Yep.
Tell me what you do.
I'm a realtor.
That's incredible.
I work for a property management company managing rental properties.
Perfect.
And I also do
Do you still do your welding?
some, not a lot. I do the occasional little odd job and whatever, if I need some extra money,
Yeah.
if it's something I can do. But welding's a
think
hard
that's
job to do sitting
yeah.
in a chair.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I think that's a lost trait too. There's not a whole lot of welders, so I think that's fascinating that you know it.
yep, and
Yeah.
it's fun. Working on things is what
Yeah.
I do. I have endless projects. I have a school bus and a tractor and trucks and all kinds of.
Well,
I'm
you've
always
got
working on something.
Yeah, you've got the brain for fixing all of that, and like you said, your obsession with vehicles and cars and motorcycles, and yeah, I love it. Okay, anything that we haven't touched on that you can think? What are your hopes and dreams? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Living alone in a bus in the mountains.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
I think something that we didn't really talk about is like when I first got hurt, initially I was like, my life's over. I can't weld. I can't earn an income. I can't live on my own. Like, my thoughts were I'm going to have to be in a nursing home or whatever, because I didn't know everything that I know now.
Yeah.
And, like,
And that's what your brain automatically goes to. Somebody's going to have to help me for the rest of my life. And
right. And there is nothing further from the truth. Like that there is nothing that I have wanted to do that I haven't figured out how to do. I rode a motorcycle again. Like I said, I'm building a school bus, tiny home school bus thing to live in and travel. I'm currently working on getting my pilot's license. Like anything you want to do, you're gonna have to do it differently. But if you have just a little determination, you can do it.
I love that, and I love that you're talking about that, because that can give somebody else the courage to do whatever. You can do everything you set your mind to.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what it is, like and that also is another really cool thing about the rehab in Denver. If you have something that you're like, can I do this? Like, I'm pretty sure they'd take you skydiving if you asked them to.
Yeah.
Like, they would figure out a way to get you to do that, right?
That's really cool.
Like, they're really big into showing you that, hey, just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean your life's over. You can do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to figure out a different way to do it.
I think that is incredible. And I'm sure even like driving a car and stuff too. Do they have like a...
Yeah, they have classes. I scared the bejesus out of my instructor because, fun fact, Denver has stop signs at on-ramps. Texas does not.
No. But I know what you're talking about.
I merged on doing 80 and he was grabbing the bar in front of him going, you just blew a stop sign. I'm like, nah, I don't care.
You just gave him a heart attack.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Okay, I think that is a great way to end this in a positive note.
Cool.
And thank you so much for letting me interview you, and I just can't wait to get this out there. So, thank you.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Tiffany, and I'm here with Joe Chris, and he is the founder director of One Chair at a Time. And we are just going to talk a little bit about Matt, who I just interviewed. And we're just going to talk about his journey from when Joe Chris met him. So,
yes, I met Matt at Northwest Hospital right after he got injured. I got the phone call from one of the therapists. Said it was an adult male, so I got to come in and rode in. And it was Matt and his mom and dad. Got to meet his family, and at that point, I got to, like most of these injuries, get to start to know them. And start to build that trust to say, hey, I'm here to help you. And Matt was really receptive of it. He listened. He didn't ask much questions. Real quiet guy. Mom and dad were really, you could tell their whole world was turned upside down at that moment.
Yeah.
And then when you have somebody else in a chair, not only are they like, that's going to be my son also. And a part of the brain's like, you don't want to accept that. You don't want to see. So I got to see him there and spent a lot of time with them. Went a couple days. Hey, hey, Matt, what's up? Here's what's going to happen. Here's what you can expect. Went down and got to have coffee with the mom and dad. And they were just real accepting. And I kind of knew then when I left, like, this young man, he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be all right.
Not gonna walk again, but
Yeah.
he's got a foundation.
Yeah.
Because I could see how much they were, that unity they had, that family bond,
And the support,
and
yeah.
you see that in a good family and in a family, and you can kind of tell with the patient, like, oh, okay, somebody's always there with them. And a lot of the times, us as patients, you kind of want everybody to leave you alone because you're an adult. Whether if you're an adult, like I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
But when you're family, your mama,
Yeah.
when your mama won't leave you, then you know like he's gonna be good. So then I got to see him there, and then as soon as he got out, he went to his rehab, and then he came back, and I got to be involved with getting him back, and then hanging out with him and texting him and talking to him and letting him know it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. And one thing that always sticks out in my mind is when he got hurt, he was in the hospital. He tells me, "Hey, I'm gonna ride a motorcycle one day," and I was like, "That's a bad idea."
It's a really bad
Right.
idea.
That's how you got injured. So I'm like, why does this young man want to go get back on a bike? And he told me that, and I said, okay, yeah, well, that's going to be very hard. I'm realistic with them,
Yeah.
I didn't like the idea. And then I think it was a couple years after his injury, he was making, he's made a lot of progress. Very independent now, works, does lots of things for the community, helps with our program also. And I'd never forget that day he called and he was like, "Hey, I bought a motorcycle."
Oh gosh.
And I'm like, "That's a bad idea." And I happened to be in the garage, and then he pulls up on this trike, 3-wheel Can-Am. I think they're Spiders.
Yeah.
And when he pulled into my driveway, the smile on his face,
Oh, huge, I'm sure.
huge. And I looked at him, and he was just, "Oh, look, I did it." And I understood at that moment where he's coming from, and I told him, "Man, I have not seen you smile like that in years." And he's
Those
like, "Joe,"
moments are priceless.
yeah, he's like, "Joe Chris, I told you like I was going to get on a bike," and so he achieved that goal of, getting stronger, getting where he could transfer, and be able to do those things, and then to get on a motorcycle and probably also fight that demon of he got injured on one. And so I was very proud of him then. I thought he's a little crazy.
Came full
Still
circle.
think,
Yeah.
yes, I think he's a little crazy still. I think he got rid of it. But yes, at that moment, then I understood. He's like, "Oh, you don't understand unless you rode a motorcycle." And so things like that. I know he used to ride a big old lawn. They're not lawnmowers, they're tractors. He worked on some tractors and did some stuff like that. He's welding, and he built the bed of his truck. And just things like that were his normal. And to be involved in those, and him to be like, "Hey, I want to build this bed for my pickup." I'm like, man, the amount of work and welding and picking up metal. I said, dude, that's awesome, right? Do you? And he got it done, and now it's on his truck. And just to see and be a part of it, knowing. And I had to remind him sometimes, "Matt, you remember when you were at Northwest and your world was turned upside down and you couldn't dress and you could barely roll? Look where you are now."
Yeah.
Because I've seen those kind
You
of.
get to see the beginning.
Yes, and I try to remind
then
them,
the
like,
whole-
"Hey, look at this. Look how you were. Look how you were even a year. Now look where you are now. You know, you got a job. You do these things." And to remind them, because when I get hurt, it was one thing I didn't do. I didn't want to look in the past and see those victories.
Yeah.
And so, like with our nonprofit, it's like you treat it totally different. I was like remind them, like, man, the progress that they've made. So that's just a couple of little stories I want to share about Matt. Very proud of him and what he's accomplished, and to be a part of the group. So
I love it. I love it. And I love what you're doing with one chair at a time.